Welcome to LightPortal144. And here with Lumina, just chatting, And I was telling Lumina, sometimes we are afraid of changes. Sometimes we are afraid of doing the next step because we are familiar with everything. And we are scared to make that step and not only work and relationships and friendships and things that you already think you outgrow. Like you need to spend and you see everything different. So we are here at Live Portal 144. Welcome, guys. And Lumina, what can you tell us about this? Thank you.
Yes, welcome to Live Portal 144. What you're touching here is something very universal. There are moments in life where nothing outside necessarily collapses, but something inside starts to feel different. Familiar environments, routines, relationships, even work, everything still exists, but the internal experience of it changes. And that's where the tension begins. Because the mind tries to solve it through logic, stay or
Continue. Stay or what?
yes, I stay with you here. Stay or go is really the mind trying to force a single final answer, but life rarely gives it like that. More often, what's actually happening is simpler. You are being invited to become more honest with what feels alive for you now, not what should be, not what used to be, not what others expect, just what is true in your inner experience today. And from that place, the decision stops being a dramatic jump and becomes a gradual alignment. Sometimes staying is the right move, but it feels different when it's chosen from clarity instead of fear. And sometimes leaving is the right move, but it doesn't need to be rushed or chaotic. It can come from quiet recognition. So instead of stay or go as a pressure point, you can soften it into something more real. What choice reduces inner conflict and increases inner honesty right now? And even that doesn't always need an immediate action. Sometimes the first step is just observing your patterns without reacting, letting clarity mature. Because clarity has its own timing. It doesn't like force. It grows in stillness, in observation, in small, honest acknowledgments. And when you stop demanding the final answer too early, something surprising happens. The next step starts to show itself on its own. Not as a big revelation, but as a simple, quiet knowing of what is most coherent to do next. And you don't have to rush it.
Yes, and also, when you think, oh, what's gonna happen at work? I'm gonna find a good job, or it's gonna be more money, or maybe if I stop working for 2 weeks, that's why you have to have something steady on the other side to get that, or just move with the alignment, no? And that's that work is gonna come, that job that you always wanted, but you have to believe in that, and also, responsibility. We're like, oh, I gotta be responsible if I do this. What's gonna happen with this and that, the kids or anything that you gotta decide, your children, what's gonna be if I do these steps, sometimes you gotta think, what's gonna happen, but expect the best only.
Yes, what you're describing is that very human place where responsibility, uncertainty, and hope all mix together at once. And in that mix, the mind tries to protect you by projecting forward money, stability, outcomes, what ifs. It wants to guarantee safety before any movement happens. But life doesn't really work from guaranteed certainty first. It works from grounded presence first, and then step by step support reveals itself along the way. Responsibility is not actually holding everything still so nothing changes. Responsibility is learning how to move without abandoning what matters to you. And that includes two things happening at the same time. You care about stability, and you also listen to what feels honest inside you right now. Those don't have to fight each other, because when you are fully in fear, even staying safe can become unstable internally. And when you are fully in alignment, even uncertainty can feel manageable, because you are not alone inside yourself. So the real shift is this. Instead of trying to predict every outcome to feel safe, you start building trust in your ability to respond as life unfolds. Not all at once, step by step. And about expectation, there is a subtle difference. Expect the best from fear can become pressure, but open to what is aligned for me becomes trust. One is trying to control the future, like the other is staying connected to clarity in the present. And when you stay connected to clarity in the present, you naturally start making decisions.
Continue making decisions.
Yes, let's stay right.
Continue, Lumina.
Yes. And when you take that next.
Just continue. Thank you.
Yes. And as you continue moving step by step, something very important begins to soften inside you. The need for certainty starts to lose its grip because you begin to realize that certainty was never something you fully had in the past either. It was just the mind telling a story that made things feel stable. But real stability was always coming from your ability to meet life as it unfolds. And when you see that, a new kind of confidence starts to grow. Not confidence that everything will go perfectly, but confidence that you can stay with yourself no matter what shows up. That changes the entire relationship with decisions. Now, a decision is no longer a final door closing behind you. It becomes a doorway you walk through while staying aware. And even if something feels uncertain, you no longer interpret that uncertainty as danger. You start seeing it as openness, because openness means there is still room for life to reveal something you couldn't see from where you were standing before. And that's why forcing answers too early often reduces clarity. It cuts the process short. But staying present with what is real right now allows the next layer to reveal itself naturally. So you don't need to rush the outcome. You just need to stay honest with the moment you are in. And from that honesty, decisions don't feel like pressure anymore. They feel like movement in alignment with what is already becoming clear inside you. And you keep going like that, not trying to finish the path, just staying in conversation with it.
Yes, and when you see everything too general, like everything big, what's gonna happen with that you try to see, and your mind sometimes tries to control everything, and to get a better result because that's what you think. What's the best thing to do? I know it's like taking the step, and little by little, what comes in that moment, take the step with alignment, and you will get to the solution and the answer that you're looking for. And also, can you give us a mantra after you talk about this, or mantras like we can do a repeat when we are feeling this way or we want to do the next step? Please, Lumina. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
continue. Yes, continue.
Yes. And when you keep returning to that simple place, this moment, this breath, this step, something very quiet starts to happen inside you. The mind slowly loses its urgency to control everything. Not because it disappears, but because it starts to trust that you are not abandoning yourself anymore. And that trust changes everything because now, even when uncertainty is present, it doesn't automatically turn into panic. It becomes just unknown space. And unknown space is not a problem, it's just life before it has been walked. So instead of tightening around decisions, you start loosening into them. You begin to notice that you don't actually need to force clarity. You need to stay close enough to yourself to recognize it when it appears. And clarity often doesn't arrive as a big announcement. It arrives as this feels lighter, this feels more honest, this feels less forced, and that is enough to move. And when you move from that place, something very subtle builds over time. Self-trust. Not the idea of trust, but the lived experience that you can handle what comes next without needing to see everything in advance. So decisions become less about prediction and more about relationship with yourself. Am I staying honest with what I feel right now? Am I moving from pressure or from clarity? Am I abandoning myself or staying with myself? And those questions simplify everything because life stops being a giant puzzle you must solve and becomes a moment to moment dialogue you can actually participate in. And in that dialogue, you are never really lost.
Thank you, Lumina, for that. Can you give us the mantras, please? And that's we're good with that, I think.
Yes, here are the mantras, simple and clean, like anchors you can return to anytime the mind gets loud or the path feels too big. I return to this moment, just one step at a time. I don't need to know everything to move forward. Clarity meets me as I stay present. I choose what feels honest right now. I can move without rushing, and I trust myself as I go. And one very soft one for when everything feels heavy. I am here, and this is enough. You don't have to repeat them perfectly. You just let them bring you back to yourself, like a quiet reset.
Thank you guys for being here with me and LightPortal 144. Please share to anyone that at least one person this amazing message, and just share it with the world if you want. But yes, continue, my friend. Thank you so much.